Hello, my darlings. I have my one and only special biatch coming in tonight.
Hello.
Y'all know who this biatch is, right? Or do I need to? My best friend in the world, Annie. We
Howdy,
love when
howdy.
she comes on. We are talking about Florida hauntings tonight, and we have actually been to a couple of these places, and there's other places we'd like to go. So get ready, Julie and Terry and Rita, because we's going. Hi, everybody. What's up? How y'all doing?
Now, why is it? Hold on a second. Hopefully, if I bump
Uh-oh.
myself out, I'm sorry, but mine's not showing me like what everybody's commenting.
You'd have to do
There it
something.
is.
You have to. Yeah, I was
I
going to
found
say
it.
there's something you click to show your comments. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it.
Yep.
Hi, guys.
Everybody having a good weekend? Oh, crap. Hello, Lily. Happy belated birthday, Lily.
Yep. Our girl turned 16.
Yep.
She had a very, very eventful surprise yesterday.
Yeah. Damn, I would have even done that.
It was definitely like, oh my gosh, that's one of the coolest things that I have ever done in my life.
What do you just snorkel? You put the
No,
snorkel
you
on?
don't even snorkel. So what you do is you get into a wetsuit and they give you swim like water shoes to put on.
Uh-huh.
And you literally go to the roof of the aquarium and they have the ladders that go down into the tank. But you take a safety video on, the hand signals and everything like that. But they have like these specially made like helmets that come over top. We look like Snorks. You remember Snorks from the 80s, the cartoon? They had the little like
No.
no? Okay. So but it's a specially made helmet that comes down over top of your head and it sits on your
Uh-huh.
shoulders and it kind of seals, and then there's oxygen going into your mask, into your helmet, and you just climb down into the water and the helmet stays on and you just walk around underwater with this helmet on. And
Hi, VP. Hi,
the
Ayla.
fish and the stingrays and the turtle are all swimming around you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They did come out right after the Smurfs. You're right, Missy.
I didn't remember that, Missy.
Yeah.
So is everybody having a
the turtle's name was Sheldon.
Turtle named Sheldon. Oh.
Yep.
That's cool. Well, I've had a lot going on here. Man, y'all girls are going to be shocked when you come here to see how much shit I've done since you've fucking been here.
Busy. Ever since they
Listen,
came
every
and put the barn in,
day.
you have been busy.
Yeah. Yes, until I hurt my shoulder and I had to take a couple days. And now I've hurt my foot and I've had to rest that. But today I cut some more wood. I built that thing to get the pigs moved. I love my bench. I love my bench. Oh yeah, we already heard about you both shitting this morning. Yes, he was. Your armpit.
Yes.
Oh no.
So we were getting ready to get our wetsuits on, and there's lockers out there that they give to everybody that's participating in the class or whatever, so that you can put your personal items in the locker while you're, off being underwater, and she didn't have her shoes on, and she went to come out to put something in her locker. Girl, her feet went right out from under her, and she ate it and took down. She took down the bin that you're supposed to put your wetsuit in once you're done. Poor baby. She hasn't bruised yet, but I have a feeling she's going to have a nice looking bruise on her rib cage.
She probably will. I'm surprised she didn't pee her pants. I would have.
Well, the floor is wet, so it helped cover it up.
That's good. That would have been my excuse too.
Oh, poor kid. I felt so bad.
You poor kids got to hang out with all these old people. Oh my goodness. Anywho, we're gonna get started on this Florida hauntings.
Yes.
You're the guest tonight. Why don't you go first, young lady?
Okay. So, my main focus for tonight was St. Augustine. St. Augustine is, Florida's and the oldest city in the United States, right?
Is it the United States? I knew it was the oldest city in Florida. I didn't know about the United States. I didn't know.
I didn't do that much research. However, a lot of history, a lot of crazy stuff going on in St. Augustine.
And I've never been to St. Augustine.
I have, and I've actually been to majority of the places, or the 4 that I was able to get good information on. I have been to 2 of them.
Fort? Isn't there a fort there? Oh, I want to go there so bad.
Yes, and actually, you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll start with that one.
Okay.
So the Castillo San de Marcos, or Castillo de San Marcos, it is the largest masonry structure of its kind because it is made from a special type of lime rock, coquina.
Cool.
It is it was built in the 17th century. So it has survived. Yeah, it has survived 300 years of battles and hurricanes and just everything else, any other type of crazy weather that we get down here in Florida. It has survived all that. So it is a pretty well put together building.
Yeah, we need to build our houses like that.
For real. Well, a lot of the structures down there are from that time because they were built with this particular type of lime rock, which is why a lot of them have stayed around for so long. And sorry, my armpit itches, y'all.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of these structures are still there, and they're still intact, just as they were hundreds of years ago, because they, the stuff is solid. And like I said, I've actually been to the Castillo. It is huge, you guys. It is
cool.
Huge, and it definitely gives off creepy vibes being in there.
Really?
Yes.
So I'm going to take the bag with us when we go. I'm going to take the bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are reports of, and it's kind of funny because we experienced this at one of our normal places. There are reports of a light shining from a fixture that has no electricity going to it.
Yes, that's a fucking cemetery.
There are sights of a Spanish soldier standing at the edge, looking out towards the sea, kind of like guarding and, doing patrol. At the edge of the Castillo. And you can see him at sunrise and sunset. There is a dungeon there. And there are reports of when people are going through the dungeon that they feel cold hands grab their arm. They feel queasy and cold drafts. Now, mind you, y'all, we're in Florida. It's hot.
Yeah, you don't feel cold graft. If you feel a cold graft, it's something.
The only difference between Florida and an oven is an oven doesn't produce serial killers. Okay, so it is hot here in Florida. There have been video and photos of mists, glowing orbs, and apparitions. There are quite a few stories and legends of things going on. There's the lady in blue, who is her name is Maria Mansilla. She fell in love with
Oh,
a
wow.
Spanish soldier and is now bound to the fort and seen roaming around in a blue gown looking for her lost love. There's the
Was he killed or something? We don't know.
we don't know. There wasn't any further. They just,
Right.
stated who she was and some of the stuff that's been seen. There is a headless soldier that is believed to be a victim
Ooh.
of a tragic execution or an accident. There is
Ugh.
a shadow man, which is to be seen walking on the ground of the Castillo, and they see him walking over to the drawbridge, which is close by.
Okay. All right.
The main one that really creeped me out was the Forbidden Lovers. They were said, there was one report that said that they were to be entombed in the walls of the Castillo. And then they could smell perfume of the female. And when I did a little bit of research on that, in 1784, the Colonel Garcia Marti and his wife Dolores arrived in St. Augustine. Captain Manuel Abela was assigned to be the assistant of the colonel. The colonel was a cold man and apparently was so occupied with the fort and the soldiers, he neglected and mistreated his wife. And she had enough of it and started an affair with the captain, his assistant. So,
oh boy.
Apparently, the assistant, the captain, met up with the colonel one day, and the colonel caught whiff of his wife's perfume on the captain. The next day,
oh boy.
They were nowhere to be found, and when the colonel was questioned, the colonel stated that his wife had fallen ill and was staying at her aunt's house to recover, and that after she recovered, she was going to be going back home to Spain, and that the captain was on a secret mission to Cuba at that time. However, there it was later discovered that the colonel had them kidnapped and placed in a room and chained to the wall in the dungeon and locked them away and left them to starve. Because the report was that somebody was looking through the Castillo and they realized that there was a hollow wall. And when they got through to the wall, they saw the two skeletons chained to the wall. So those two are kind of bound and destined to be at the Castillo. Pretty creepy.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to take the bag when ow.
Yeah, right? Sorry, guys.
I've even told you that I've never been, and I want to go over there. So even if we just take a day trip, I'd love to take the bag and just go.
Well, it is definitely something that we can go explore in the morning and then hit the beach up in the afternoon.
Yeah. As long as there's a bar nearby.
There's plenty.
Cool. That sounds good to me.
There's actually
we'll have a nice little girl getaway for a day.
The Salt Life across the street from where I like to park and go to the beach, the Salt Life restaurant has really good white peach sangria. Just saying.
The only sangria I like is the red apple sangria. That is my very favorite one.
I'm telling
And
you,
I really haven't found any other sangria. I'll taste it though.
Oh, makes my toes curl just thinking about it.
Oh Lord, I hadn't had my toes curl in a couple of years. Anyway, thank God for Bob. We're going to move on to the Biltmore Hotel. The Biltmore Hotel is in Coral Gables.
Lord have mercy.
Which is down south. And I had a friend of mine who used to be with FHP has been to the Biltmore. So he told me about this a long time ago. And I remember him telling me some stories that he's gone in there and heard about these things. So you hush, Julie. Okay. So the Biltmore first opened its doors in 1926. It has also served as a military hospital during World War II, a VA hospital after the war, and even was the campus of the University of Miami Medical School before reverting back into the luxury hotel it is today in 1987. Guests that have stayed there is President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Al Scarface Capone, Johnny Weissmuller, who played the original Tarzan.
Okay.
And yep, it was designated a National Historic Landmark in 1996. One of the permanent ghosts that live here is the notorious gangster Thomas Fatty Walsh. He was murdered on the 13th floor in 1929 over a gambling dispute. Now, if you ever go to a hotel, they don't have a 13th floor.
I have heard
Any
that.
hotel. Any hotel you ever go to, there's no 13th floor. So what was the 13th floor then is now the 14th floor. Okay. The lights will turn on and off by themselves day or night. The elevator will shut down between the 12th and the 14th floor. People have been stuck in it for hours.
Oh, my Lord.
A ghostly woman in a white dress and flowers in her hair is often seen wandering the halls and the grounds.
Oh, Lord.
I think I feel a sneeze coming. A woman was set to get married there, but her fiance never showed up for the wedding. She took her own life on the second floor, where she hung herself in her suite with her veil.
Oh, my. Yeah.
You will see her pacing the halls, and she watches out the windows as like looking for her fiance to show up. And you can smell gardenias. You can go into the second floor and you'll know she's around because you will smell the gardenias. And it said that the gardenias were in her hair and in her bouquet to get married. In room 428, a male ghost in a uniform is seen a lot. He's known to sit at the foot of the bed and watch who's ever sleeping in it. People report waking up to this male figure, and then he'll disappear once he realizes he is seen. Women in this room report that a man has laid down in the bed with them and was trying to kiss their neck, and they could feel the brush of his lips up next to them.
Ew.
Numerous movies were filmed here. Ghostbusters was partially filmed in the reception area. Also in room 217, a maid was severely injured in that room by a gas explosion.
Oh, my.
She did survive that, and she continued working there for the rest of her life. It's said that she's still there and will tidy up the rooms, whether the guests want her to or not.
Wow.
I don't like elevators either, but I mean,
Mm-mm.
I'll ride an elevator before I'll get on a fucking plane.
Yeah, not these days.
So
Holy crap! It seems like every time you look at something, something's going on with some flight.
I know, and it's just my fucking luck. I'm scared to do anything.
For real.
If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any.
That's like my GM was asking me, "Oh, why wouldn't you ever want to go on a cruise, or why don't you want to fly on a plane?" And I said, "Because the only place to go is down.
Yeah.
At least if I am already
Yep.
down, I can move forward, to the side, backwards.
That's
like
right. That's right.
You don't mean
That's
messed
right.
up,
Nope.
but you
I am
think
not
you're
going.
putting me
No.
like I'm
Mm-mm.
good.
Not going on a cruise. Nope.
I call it staying grounded. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Nope. I totally nope. Uh-huh.
I'm staying grounded.
And I told Missy, I said, listen, when me and Annie can get like a whole fucking week vacation and we can find the time, we'll drive our asses up because we want to do the Lizzie Borden house.
Right.
And Missy's going to come and stay with us at the Lizzie Borden house.
Cool.
And I'd like to take one day and go over to Salem and stay in Salem for one night and then come home. But I told I told Missy, I'm like, we can't just do it in a weekend. That's too much.
Oh my gosh.
I said, if we had a week and we come up there for 2 nights, we could at least stop and eat or grab a night to sleep somewhere.
Right.
And we don't have to fucking rush. I said, because that rushing kills us. It totally exhausts you.
Well, that was Louisiana. Oh my God.
Oh,
that was
man.
rough.
Once we got there, though, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Once we got there, though, it was awesome. But then we had to drive home.
Getting home was like.
Well, we were trying to do it so fast. We did it in straight 9 hours. And
that's true.
Man. So I think if we weren't in such a hurry, it wouldn't be as bad because we could stop and, let's go to this place and antique place or anything like that. We can just stop and we don't have to rush so much. So I think it would be better that way. Anywhere. Go ahead. It's on you.
It's on me. All right.
Yeah.
So, I didn't know. I know you've got a few more than I do, so I didn't know how you wanted to do it. The other place that I have been to in St. Augustine is the old jail. And it is actually the old St. Augustine jail is actually listed on the Florida as well as the National Register of Most Haunted Places.
Cool.
It was open from 1891 until 1953.
Wow.
It also, there have been reports, however, there were none confirmed that they were holding places for Al Capone while he was being transferred to other prisons. As well as Billy the Kid. So again, just reports, nothing really confirmed as far as the records that they have that are still available for the old jail.
Right.
It was built in 1891 by Henry Flagler. Flagler is, it's St. Augustine's in Flagler County. There's Flagler College. A lot of stuff is named Flagler because of Henry Flagler. The conditions were notoriously inhumane. There was no running water at this jail whatsoever, even all the way up until it closed. There was no running water in 1953.
Damn.
It is said that some of the most dangerous criminals were housed in the maximum security, and there were 8 documented hangings at this particular jail. Some of the people that I didn't write them down, but some of the people that were imprisoned here, one guy murdered his wife with a straight razor, and it was like totally, of course, for the times, it was just like totally unheard of. And there was another guy that was
Yeah.
in there for murder as well. I don't fully recall what all it was in detail as to what he had done. However, when Flagler had, and I have been there, when you look at this place, it does not look like a jail because he had it built like a Victorian house to conceal that that's
Oh,
what it was, so that it was, not uh, unnerving and to bring concern for the townspeople and people that would visit St.
right.
Augustine. So when you look at this place, it literally just looks like an old Victorian house. But
Yeah.
when you go in there, it's a whole different story.
Well, I love going to old jails.
It held up to 72 prisoners, and it was
Oh.
constructed by the same people that built Alcatraz.
Oh.
Yeah, because Alcatraz has been around forever. It's been reported that people have felt presence, they hear noises, and that they have, seen stuff move by. I did find
Yeah.
one Reddit article that reported the sheriff that was at the St. Augustine Old Jail. His name was Joe Perry. He was an absolute
Okay.
tyrant and terror. He was just
Oh.
severely just mistreated everybody. They had a lot of stuff set up, and when they were asking questions and everything regarding the sheriff, the responses they got back were kill Joe and Joe die.
Oh, jeez.
So he was not liked.
Okay.
However, the reports are that when they were asked questions, the responses were extremely clear and accurate. How many people are in the room, their names were said back to them, stuff like that. They reported that they could hear boots walking on the hardwood floors, walking towards them. And that when they were getting ready to leave, and they told them that they were leaving and that, they had to stay there, they could hear a woman crying and men talking upstairs.
Uh-oh. Were there women's cells there as well?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
There were. So, from what I read is that, like I said, there were 8 confirmed hangings here. So like there were some of the worst of the worst. I mean the crime, of course, and for the time too.
Yeah.
It's not like they had them separated kind of like what they do now, where you're low security, mid security, maximum, everything like that, and you're kind of housed depending upon your crime. Everybody was just put into one place together. And that's why, I mean, honest, like I said, it held up to 72 people. That's a pretty decent size for the time period. So,
Right.
it said that, people were held there, for murder or for petty theft. So, but there were all different, men, women, and I think there was like a small section of juvenile. But I didn't see too much more on the juvenile part.
Yeah.
So, but being at, because even at the old jail, they have like what are they called? They have like the stocks where you put your head in and your wrist and it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
They have those. they have like a cage that they would lock people in and on the outside. I don't recall what exactly they used that for. I can't remember if it was used for transport or whatever. But I just remember them having one. But yeah, that place was definitely odd vibes too.
I would like to go there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely
the
recommend
guillotine.
it.
Yes. I made one for I made one for Halloween. I should have remembered that.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I would like to go to that.
I mean, I'm trying to think if they still had. I know that there's like different, like plaques and everything that state different facts and everything. I feel like that I don't think that they have any of the actual, like, what is it, the gallows? Isn't that what that's called?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that they still have any of them erected. However, I think there's a plaque of where they took place. Like
I got
where
you.
they were.
Well, that's sort of like the Jasper jail. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the ones that were hung in that tower, the gallows was like across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or in the back or somewhere. Anyway, it was
Yeah,
not
I
in
can't
the building.
remember.
There were, well, we're going to do Jasper jail because we've been there, but in that tower in the front, there were people hung in there. And people would stand outside and watch through the glass. At Jasper jail. At Jasper jail?
Why am I?
Yeah. The front, like where you walk in the door, that's a big tower. And the tower you got to from the third floor.
Yes. Yes. I do remember now. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's been so long.
I know. Yeah. Well, I was down in the Keys for 8 years, and everybody knows that's where I saw my first ghost. I did not believe in ghosts or anything like that until that little thing walked up to my car. Well, apparently, Robert the Haunted Doll is down there in Key West, and I did not know about Robert the Haunted Doll while I was down there. What? Or I would have gone there. But there is Robert the Haunted Doll in Key West, and it's located in the Fort East Martello Museum. Excuse me. This museum was built during the Civil War, and it's listed in the National Register of Historic Places. This doll once belonged to eccentric Key West artist Robert Eugene Otto, and he was born in 1900 and passed away in 1974. He used to blame this doll for all kinds of mischief, but nobody ever believed him. The doll was given to him by a sweet Bahamian servant girl that he befriended, so we wouldn't get rid of it. Now, visitors claim that they have seen Robert the doll move and even change his facial expressions. He's also been heard making giggling sounds. It's said that if people take a picture of him, they will receive bad luck. I don't have any much more information. I don't know how that museum in particular got the doll after he passed away. I don't have any of that information, but that I found. So it's a short one. But if I would have known about it, I would have went.
I have seen about it that the Annabelle doll is on tour right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, from what Lily saw, is that there's a report that she's missing. Yeah.
I haven't heard that she's missing. Now, I don't know why. I know that Annabelle was at Zach Bagans' museum. they were good friends with what's that couple's Lorraine and
The
Ed?
Warrens.
Yes, and they liked Zach Baggins. Well, anyway, Annabelle was given to Zach Baggins for his museum because he has a haunted museum.
Right.
And Annabelle has been in his museum. Now, I don't know why it would be moved, but I did hear that the Annabelle doll was taken somewhere. And as soon as it got to that town, 2 houses burnt down.
Uh-huh. It was New Orleans.
And something else happened. Oh, was it New Orleans?
It was New Orleans. They took it to New Orleans, and that plantation burnt down.
Two places burnt down.
Uh-huh.
In the same day. And there was a third thing that happened. Oh, I didn't know she was like on tour. I didn't know. That's not a thing you would want to. Yeah. I wouldn't want that bitch in my car. Mm-mm. Even though she's in that box. She's in that glass sealed box, but I don't care. She ain't getting my car.
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, there's like she
anyway
was in New Orleans. I don't recall where they took her after because she was literally only there for like a day or two. All that stuff happened, and then they moved her to the next town. That they were. Yeah.
What is the purpose, though? Several places, and after she left, things happened. What is the purpose, though, of this tour? I don't understand. Why would you take the most haunted doll in the fucking world on a tour?
Because Baggins wants money. What else?
Never. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway.
Good grief. Yeah.
That's stupid.
Their own. Yeah. She's on a vacation.
Yeah, that's what she needs. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many you have.
I've got 4. I have 4.
Okay, well, we can just go back and forth until you don't have any, and then.
Okay. The next one that I have is the Spanish military hospital.
Oh.
Yes, it was. The original section was from 1784 until 1821. It was made up of 3 different sections. There was the east, the west, and the apothecary.
Okay.
The west hospital west burned down in 1818. It was reconstructed, and they had to replace the water lines under the building and found thousands of human bones. Apparently, the hospital sat on if I butcher this, I apologize, the Timucuan burial ground. And these were the Native Americans native to St. Augustine in its early years. Now, there was also reports that I was reading that there was also a burial ground over by the Fountain of Youth when that was discovered. However, the ones that they found over by the Fountain of Youth, they thought were more proper burial, whereas the ones that they found under the hospital were like slaughter style, more mass grave type. So they're thinking, yeah. So what they're thinking is that the ones that they found under the hospital were truly the natives. It was a mass grave, and that the ones that they found over by the Fountain of Youth were the ones that probably murdered the natives because of the style in
Oh,
which they were buried. They just kind of threw them in a hole and called it a day.
yeah.
Either way, the hospital was built over top of a very, very gruesome burial ground for these people. There were moans, screams, crying, and mist of patients in hospital gowns. There have been outlines of bodies laying in beds when there's no one there. It's reported that experimental procedures occurred on injured patients at the hospital. And then there's reports of people feeling a pressing on their chest and scratches on their back.
Wow. Shit.
From what I have read and could see is that the east and the west, because the east wing burnt down in 1895,
Mm-hmm.
and then apparently the west was torn down. I didn't really see too much more on it after it had been rebuilt, because it was rebuilt after it burned down in 1818. But the only building that still stands there is the apothecary, which is now turned into a museum.
Right.
But there is part of the apothecary is what's considered the mourning ward. So it was an alcove for patients dying and about to pass. Basically, they would move them in there, and the priests would go in and read them their last rites and everything like that. There are cases
That's
of
sort of like
crying.
the hospital hospice.
Correct. There are cases of crying and moans coming from there, and some have seen a particular ghost in a white hospital gown with blood dripping from the stumps and missing arms. I would probably pee my pants.
I'd probably do a number 2 in there.
Right. So, once I saw the building that was originally the military, because it was strictly military. Like, you had to be
right
in the military in order to be able to go to this hospital. Like, it wasn't even like
so like a
members.
VA hospital.
Right.
Okay.
You
yeah.
you had to strictly be part of the military.
So that's a soldier that probably got his arms or legs blown off. Oh my God.
But at the same time, this whole thing of experimental procedures, I'm like, what were you doing? Nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything in there as far as what some of those were, but it kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. The lobotomy thing always freaked me out.
Right. That's what they did to that poor Kennedy girl.
Mm-mm. They didn't even give them anything for that.
No.
Excuse me. Anyway.
Well, because they couldn't fully knock them out for it, because as
They
they were
needed the
doing
brain something.
the brain stuff, they had to see how they were responding to it.
Did you fucking imagine? They would have to hold them down and let them bite on stuff.
Uh-huh. It was awful.
Fuck. Oh my God. Okay. So this next one that I have is also a short one. But every time we go to West Palm Beach, we pass it. This is in Port St. Lucie. We go through Port St. Lucie, and then Palm Beach is shortly after.
Right.
It's called the Devil's Tree. Okay. This is located in Oak Hammock Park, down a dirt road nature trail. This tree was the site of a series of gruesome murders in the early 1970s. People say it's now possessed by all of those spirits. People that have gone to this location have actually reported seeing dark hooded figures performing satanic rituals under the tree. When the people attempt to video or take a picture, there's nobody there, but yet they're looking right at them. The police were called once because a lady that was jogging during the day saw a body hanging from the tree. When the police arrived, it was gone. It seems the spirits here are angry. There have been a couple attempts to cut the tree down, but they failed and was unable to cut it.
Wow.
So I'd go there. We could stop there next time we go to Palm Beach.
We deal with enough with trees and other hooplas, other places we go. What's
Oh, that's coming up. But a lot of people will remember because I was live, remember?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have of the Devil's Tree.
Well, the only thing that I have left is probably the other most popular St. Augustine haunt, which is the lighthouse.
Oh yes, yeah, that's like the most popular thing in Florida is this lighthouse.
Between that and the Castillo,
yeah,
you know. So the St. Augustine lighthouse. There's actually been 2 lighthouses there. The first one was I had a couple conflicting dates, but from what I could see, it's that the first one was built in 1589.
Oh, wow.
That one decayed from tidal erosion as well as harsh weather conditions. So I could only imagine, it was hurricanes and stuff like that before they had a term for it or whatever. The second one was built that we see now, which is the black and white stripe one. It was built in 1874. Right. It has been featured on Ghost Hunters. Jason and Grant and their whole crew have gone there and gotten some pretty good footage and stuff like that from this, this particular lighthouse. There is a report that it was 2 or 3 girls, again, conflicting information. I heard they were friends, and then I also saw that they were sisters. They drowned when the cart that they were playing with fell in the ocean. There are reports of seeing them roaming around and hearing them playing and giggling inside and out of the lighthouse.
I think I heard that story, but I think they were sisters, 2 younger sisters that fell over the side.
Yeah, okay. Again, I saw different things, so just kind of covering all my bases. There's also one of the lighthouse keepers, Mr. Andro, fell to his death while painting the outside of the tower. And then I did find an article whether or not it was Mr. Andrew. It did not really specify, but the author and their family had gone to the lighthouse. The author of this article had a fear of heights and couldn't go all the way up the steps. And if you've seen videos on the inside and everything, I mean, there's a lot of stairs inside this thing. I mean, this thing's tall.
Yep.
You can get full specs on it, but it's a lot of steps. But they couldn't go all the way up to see the views at the top of the lighthouse from their fear of heights. So they stayed down at the bottom. And there's apparently a bench at the bottom that you can look up and still see people, up in the top.
Okay.
So the family went up without her, and while she was waiting for them, the main door at the bottom flung open, and a fisherman walked in. She said he had gray long hair, gray long beard. He was wearing a rain hat, a dark raincoat, and big black boots, and he was carrying a leather bucket. He stomped past her and didn't acknowledge her and was whistling. She watched him go all the way up the stairs and out to the door that goes to the outside catwalk to look at the view around the outside of the lighthouse. Seconds went by, and her family came through the same door and back down to her. The mother of the author of the article reported feeling like someone or something was trying to push her over the railing. The author of the article asked her mother about the fisherman guy that had come up and out the door, and she said that nobody was up there that was whistling or that looked like that. So yeah.
Shit.
Right.
See, I'd be the one sitting down. I can't go up there either because I'm scared of heights.
But she said that he was...
Yeah, I've heard the stories about that place, but I've never had the nerve to go because, like I said, I ain't going up to the top. So
right.
There's a lighthouse down in the Keys too that I couldn't go up
because of the height.
Yeah, I couldn't go all the way up. Even inside, it's a spiral staircase on the inside.
Right, so you're not even seeing the outside.
But it's yeah.
No, I get it.
So I knew how high I was getting because you can look down the middle on the inside. You can look down the middle. So I was crawling up the stairs.
Right.
But I couldn't go outside. So I was like scooching down the stairs to go back down. I was literally sitting from step to step. I was scooching down with my butt up against the wall. Like I was freaked out in there. I don't.
Goodness.
It's crazy. I don't do heights, man. Well, the next one I have, it's called the Devil's School, and this is in Jacksonville. Now, I've never been to Jacksonville either. I've only been through it. Never stopped. Never been to Jacksonville. This is located on I-95 near I-10. This place, it has been called outrageously haunted. It's said to be the most haunted place in Jacksonville. Now, a crazed man who was once a janitor here is said to have kidnapped a few students, and after raping them, he burned them alive in the boiler room. Now, this first opened in 1918 as Riverside Grammar School, which later became Annie Lytle Elementary School. It was closed in 1960, and it was abandoned and left to decay. Over the years, it's been vandalized and defaced by graffiti. But it has also been used for locations of some satanic rituals in there. There was a large fire in the old auditorium, and the ritual tools were found. in there. So they're believing to it was a satanic ritual that caught that on fire.
Wow.
People say that from the outside, you can hear children laughing and playing on what used to be the playground. It is closed to the public now, but people that have been inside claimed hearing footsteps, doors slamming, children screaming, and what sounds like men talking. Annie Lytle was the principal there for 35 years. It was said she was very mean and made the students march everywhere they went. She wasn't liked at all. It said that if they marched out of step, she would trip them and make them fall. She died in 1957 and is buried in the Evergreen Cemetery.
Wow.
So that's all I got on that. But yeah, that one's not even open to the public, but people on the outside can say they can still hear children laughing and stuff.
See, and I've been like right by there because like if I'm going to the zoo or if we're going to St. Augustine or something like that, that's where we go to get to those places. So
Yeah. I know nothing about Jack's or St. Augustine. I ain't never been. Well, I'm wrong. Let me correct myself. I've been to St. Augustine one time. I had to go over there. I was keeping someone company on a doctor's appointment. And there is a tree there that's apparently a cross. There's like a little shopping center across from that fort.
Yeah.
And there is apparently a tree there that's two separate trees that has intertwined. And if you get your picture done under this tree, you're supposed to be together forever and all this mess. Well, we went and had that done and we left. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
I think so.
Uh-huh. The 1X, that 1X, you know.
That one.
Well, my main one that still has that. Anyway, that's the only time I've ever been. And we only got out of the car in that little thing to go to that tree and went back to the car and we came back.
Gotcha.
Because we had to get our picture done under the tree. See where that got us.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So, okay. The next one I have is the Capitol Theater. Now, this is in Clearwater. This is down south. Now, this first opened in 1921, and it's one of the oldest operating theaters in Florida, but very haunted. In fact, it's a permanent home to at least 3 spirits that they know of. So 1, there's an old sea captain. 2, a former theater manager. And 3, a young girl who plays tricks on visitors.
Well then. I said, well then.
Yeah. People report seeing strange orbs in their photos. People who weren't there appear in photos as well and their videos. They hear clattering or a nonstop tapping coming from backstage during shows. Not much is known about the sea captain. It has been reported that he has identified himself through paranormal equipment, but nothing on him has been found in the archives. The former theater manager, Mr. Neville, was murdered in the balcony after two men robbed and brutally beat him to death during a show. Many say it was a gay bashing, since that wasn't accepted well back then.
Right.
But his body was found there after the show was over and they went to clean up. His spirit is still there watching over the place and has even been known to greet customers as they arrive. The little girl is described as a playful spirit, and some have said that they hear her laughing. She likes to play peekaboo from around the seats. She will move objects or take people's things, only to return them in a little while. She's also said to play with women's hair if it's long, and she will touch people on their shoulders. Apparently, a sighting of Jesus Christ has been seen here as well.
Okay.
Maybe someone that looks like Jesus Christ with the long hair. I mean, there's a lot of men with long hair back then.
Right. That's true.
So I'd go there. I'd absolutely go there.
Shit, that was not too
Catch a
far from where I
show.
was yesterday.
Really?
Well, Clearwater. It's right by Tampa.
I know. Yes, Missy, you're right. And then I have, let's see, I've got two more. All right. So this one is also in Jacksonville, and it's called the Kingsley Plantation. Now, this dates way back to 1797. It's the oldest standing slave plantation. There are 23 slave residences and associated buildings among a pristine wetland on Fort George Island. Do you know where that is?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I don't either. So, okay. We can find it, though. From 1814 to 1837, it was run by the South's most atypical slaveholders, Zephaniah Kingsley and his wife, Anna. Anna was also enslaved. She was an enslaved Wolof teen that he married and then was later freed. So basically, you're my slave, you're going to marry me and do whatever I want and have sex with me whenever you want and all that. And he later freed her. Now, their family included 3 other African wives and 9 mixed race children between the 3 wives. It changed owners throughout the years until the state of Florida bought it in 1955, and then it turned into a state park. In 1991, it then became part of the Temecuen Ecological and Historic Preserve. Back then, slaves were treated very badly. They were beaten with whips for misbehavior and not given food or water in their homes. One spirit, one spirit is called Old Red Eyes. He was a slave that raped and murdered young girls in a hidden spot on the island. It said that he was the one that raped and murdered another slave's daughter as well. Other slaves discovered the crime scene area, but was unaware at the time that he was the one doing it. Alan Brown first saw red eyes in 1978. He saw what appeared to be glowing red eyes looking at him from the tree line. He approached it and the red eyes just disappeared. It's said that his spirit has never left and he still preys on people. That's how he would grab the young girls. He would watch and grab them from the tree line.
Ugh.
Back then, lynching was popular throughout the slave. There were 7 known lynchings take place on this island as well. Some were innocent that were hung and lynched. Their spirits have not crossed over and are still haunting the island. People also report seeing a woman in white. It's said that this is Anna Kingsley herself, the one that was freed.
Mhm.
She hated her time there on the island. But after she passed, her soul never left because her children were still there. She is seen all over the premises, but mostly around the kitchen house building. She had her own quarters near there and worked in that. It's also said that you can smell the aroma of gingerbread around the kitchen building. Anna used to make the gingerbread, and it was her specialty. While people will walk around and visit the island, it's said it will sound as if there's a little girl screaming from the woods. But when people run to her, it is a ghostly solid white peacock. This island is home to regular peacocks, but no albinos. I didn't know there was an albino peacock. Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't. They've said it's a pretty unique noise. It's also said that Zephaniah himself also shows himself. Things get moved, doors will open and slam shut, and he always appears to be a mad spirit. He is known to pace around the property. And a ranger said that if you say good night, Mr. Kingsley, 3 times, you will become sick.
Oh.
That's a place I don't think I'd really want to go.
Yeah. Fast.
I'm good about being on an island. I don't need to go. I'll take the word. I'll pass on that one.
For real.
And I guess I do have 2 more. My bad. So this one, well, for my next 2, I can't find on this one in particular, I couldn't find a lot of history on it. But this is the Welborn Cemetery, and this is our crazy, crazy cemetery that we have been going to for a while now. It was us that go all the time. We have taken Julie, I'm sorry, it was Rita and Terry that came. I don't think Julie was here that time, was she? We have taken Patty here. This is the one that I would go live at the cemetery. We've had rocks and wood thrown at us. We were standing there and it sounded like a tree branch break and land on the fucking ground next to us. And we look and nothing's there. This is also the one with those satanic writings on that mausoleum in the back corner with the light that would turn on and off with no electricity. And I went the next day with Crystal, and there were no lights, nowhere, anywhere in that area, not in the trees, the bushes, the ground, or the building. This is a crazy fucking cemetery. We have gone and had good experiences. We've gone and had bad experiences. So every time we even just pull up outside of it, our stomach turns because we don't know what we're going to get that night.
Oh, Julie said
Oh, you
she
were
was
with us. Okay. I couldn't remember who all was there. But this is located on County Road 37, or 137, excuse me. It was established in 1874, and with its first burial being Newton Farquhar, who was 2 years old. That was the first body buried in there. This cemetery holds the graves of important community figures, including business partners and brothers, Thomas Harvey and John Horace Reuter, and veterans from the Civil War and other conflicts. It was always been reported over the years that during the day or at night, you will see figures, see-through figures moving about the cemetery. It's visible from the road. One report was of a man in uniform walking around like he was guarding the place. This lady was delivering the mail and claims she almost drove off the road. And you will see different types of figures, lights, and orbs moving around in there, day or night. It doesn't matter.
That's right, Julie. You got
Excuse
dizzy.
me.
I do remember that.
Were you dizzy that night? Well, I mean, you're dizzy all the time, but, were you dizzy that night? But the night that I took you guys there, we had the good experience because that's the night that guy Daniel was giving us directions and telling us left, and he told us to go east, and we had to turn left. Like, it's crazy the directions he was giving us, and he took us to his grave site. So, like, that was a good night that we had that night. And then as soon as we sat down with the grid light, we saw that fucking shadow go across the front of the grid light. Like, within a minute. It was amazing. That was amazing. So we will always go back there, and we will always be scared. But we're always going to go back.
But we keep going back.
We never know. Like, just, yeah, I know. We just asking for shit. Damn, somebody's outside doing something out in the road. It almost sounds like somebody's doing spin outs on the fucking corner. Anyway, my last one is the old Hamilton County Jail. And this is also called the Jasper Jail, the old Jasper Jail. I have been there. We've been there. We've been there with Patty. We even had Rumpa there. Rumpa that was there with us. Rumpa did not really believe in all this, but he went to check it out with us. And the bed started shaking while he was in there by himself. And he came out wide-eyed, like, I ain't leaving your side. Like, he was scared to death. I don't have much information on this jail. It was turned into a museum. They will rent it out, and we've been several times. Like, we always talk to the warden. The warden always comes out and talks to us with that same voice. So I'm sure we will be going back there as well. But that is a good place that we've had lots of. That's where the very first time I ever channeled was at that jail. The night that the snake was hissing.
Yeah, that place was pretty intense.
It is intense. It's an intense place. Like, that is also the place where they had the hangings there in the tower inside that building. And in the downstairs, when you first come in, you walk in, there's a pretty staircase. And it has pictures of the old warden, and it has pictures of some of the inmates that were there, that were hung there. It actually has a picture of one of them hanging outside, because in this place there was the tower that they would hang people in, and it had the glass in the front, and the people would stand out front and watch it happen. But I can't remember if it was actually out behind the side there, or if it was across the street that the gallows were. because right down at the end of that road is the cemetery where all the people that were hanged were buried.
Yep.
And I haven't been to that cemetery, but I heard it was down there. Maybe we should check that one out sometime. I just don't like to do outdoor things in the summer.
Right.
There are so many bugs and flying bugs and spiders and no, I don't like to do outdoor. I like to do those when it's cold outside. I'd like to freeze a little. I don't care. I'll freeze a little and I ain't got to worry about a bug crawling on me. I'll tell you that. So I'm good with that. But that's all I got. They were short because you guys have watched us there. You guys have known that we've been there and y'all have watched the videos of what happened while we're there. I do not think we've had Terry and Rita and Julie at the Jasper jail.
No.
We should make that happen one weekend.
I'd be down.
I just don't like this. Yeah.
Just the bugs. And it's so
I
hot.
know. Every time I go there, I've got like two brand new cans of bug spray. Take it with me. I can't. I don't know. Remember that time? I think it was it me and Patty or was it me and Emmy? And we did a head-on collision in the doorway. Boom! And we both fell down because there was a big ass spider.
I don't remember.
Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, we did a head-on collision because we were both trying to run through the door at the same time and went bam! And then we fell down in right in front of where the fucking spider was going. So then we both were freaking out.
Golly.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Anyway, I always do the shit that's ridiculous. But anyway, that's all I've got for Florida. Georgia is next.
What about the voodoo house? Oh, yeah.
The what?
The voodoo house, the one that Tina showed us out in.
I can't find any information on it. And Tina said she was going to come on sometime and tell us all about that story and the voodoo house and all that. She was going to come on and tell us. Tina is, she just had some stuff removed from her nose and they found out it was cancerous. So they went back in and they had to go really deep. So she's walking around with a bandage. So I knew she wasn't going to come on tonight. Yeah. So once she gets that all healed up and stuff, she'll probably come on. It's probably going to leave a nice scar on her nose. But yeah, so that just happened. So she's been, and then she fucking hit it. Oh my God, she hit it and she had to call in some pain meds. Oh my God. So she was, yeah.
That poor thing.
I know. So so Tina's had some shit, and then I just try to cheer people up the best I can, make them laugh or something. That's all I know how to do. I just try my best to let her know that we love her. And I told her, I said, now, once this heals up and there's a scar there, we'll go get you a nice little diamond piercing there.
There you go.
There you go. See? It'll be a cute little piercing there now. So I don't think she'd find it. Thank you, Missy. You're the fucking bomb. She just sent me the fucking Georgia hauntings. But yeah, Georgia's next. And Annie will also be coming on with me for
Maryland.
Yep.
That's
for Maryland. Yeah. And Let's see. I could ask Wheezy to come on or Tanya, but they don't know of any haunted places there, and I don't know of any. Well, I don't know if I can get. I don't know if I can get her to come on or yet or not up there from Helen because they were new about the. You remember? I think her name's Kim, and she was coming in. Her man went on vacation for a year.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's just been working and a lot, and every once in a while I'll shoot her a text. Hey, been thinking about you, just checking in with you. And she'd write back and I'm okay. And so he's supposed to be, I think he's maybe out in June or July. I can't remember, but this year's gone super fast anyway, but
Yeah.
hopefully he'll be out soon and things can get back to normal. Because right now she's got everything on her own.
Wow.
So other than that, what is today? Oh, today's Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I do have a couple other funny little things in mind that I'm going to do. Oh, I guess I got to update you. Yeah, I'll text you. Anyway,
Update
yeah.
me. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, come on.
Well, you've just had a lot going on, so I didn't want to
understand that, but
going out.
You gotta let a bitch know what's going on. I mean,
I'll always let you know. It just didn't happen as soon as it happened. That's all.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anyway. And thank you so much for coming on tonight, my dear. It's always a pleasure. I love when her and Uncle come on. See, here's the funny things. Like she comes on with some good shit. Like we had to do our research for it and all that, right? And there went my pen. Uncle comes on when we have the really fucking awesome funny shit. Did you miss the fart one?
I did.
It was so funny.
The fart one.
It was so funny because he had the fart app. I know. No. But he had the app on his phone, and every once in a while he's hitting and fucking farting throughout the thing, and I was fucking crying. Like it was so funny.
I'll have to go back and watch it because you're right. I have had a lot going on the past few days. So
I know you have.
Just been like, but that's the way I wanted it to be, is that I was, focused on stuff around here.
I know, and that's what I let you do, and I still talk to you every day.
That's right.
Yeah, but the important stuff will come. Don't you ever? I ain't never gonna leave you out of that. I just didn't tell you yet that what? Nothing bad.
Well, you have to do a proper introduction, Uncle. I mean, what else? You have to do a proper introduction. That's all.
We hadn't even started yet, and I even stopped and was like, "What was that?" I was like, "Did you hear that?" And then, oh my God, which one did I do? I did some funny facts, and fucking Spirit Stalker was killing me. She was on fire, boy. I every other word, and I'm freaking crying, laughing.
Oh my God.
Did you make a face? I don't fucking remember. Anyway, so I will be live on Clapper for a little while after this. I thank you so much for coming on as usual. This is my best friend in the world right here, y'all. And I love you, and I will be talking to you soon. And
you better.
Thank everybody for Huh?
You better.
Of course. And thank you guys
I'm gonna
for
go get a
coming
quick
in.
shower, and when I get out that shower, I expect a message to be on my phone.
Well, I'm going to be live for a couple minutes.
See? Even my phone's like, here, I'm coming to your lap. We're getting this going. Good Lord.
We're terrible.
No. It's okay.
All right. Good
All right,
night,
kids, be good.
everybody. I love y'all so much.